to another video, Purple Political Talk here, and today we're doing another 2020 election prediction, and I feel that we should do one of these again, because things are constantly changing, and I feel last time I didn't get to put all my points out. So, right now, we're gonna start filling in our map, with our safe states, but while I do that, I'm going to talk. So, first thing I want to say is that as of right now, the election was pretty much very lopsided. As of right now, we could say that a Donald Trump is doing horribly. I mean, him, his tweets, and probably the whole Republican Party as a whole are going like down quickly. And if the tweeting habits and some of these crazy comments don't stop, maybe he'll get worse. But actually, you know what? I feel a lot of things are changing right now. And a lot of people are not looking at these things as changes. Because look, when looking at an election, we must think that anything could happen. And I think things have been happening. Who would have thought coronavirus was going to be a thing? Who would have thought these different things would have been happening? Nonetheless, there are many crazy things that could happen still. But I mean, I'm not going to take that into consideration in this video. But I'm going to talk about the things that actually have changed and are going to help either party or the other. So, we're going to start by filling our likely states for the Democratic Party. They have states like Nevada, Colorado, Virginia, and at this point, New Hampshire pretty wrapped up. I feel like these states right now, what they're really focused are, like, they're all focused on different things. Nevada, Colorado, and Virginia are in a place where Democrats are on thin ice. If Democrats say something that might upset the suburban voters, yeah, they might lose. Because here, think about it. These people are, the people who live in the suburbs, especially in Colorado and Virginia, are super against the abolishment of the police. If Democrats kind of go and commercialize off of that, I mean, very highly likely that these voters in the suburban voters, which are the key voting group, I might add, the ones who decide elections in these states, these voters will get mad. Now, have they done anything? Well, yeah, they started to commercialize some of these ideas. And, I mean, if you're having AOC as their spokeswoman, I would be careful if for Democrats, especially if they're running, first of all, down ballot races, but this is about the presidency. Joe Biden is very popular because he's moderate. And remember, the majority and the soul of America is very moderate. Now, over the last couple of years, yes, we've seen the radicalization of politics. You have the very extremist left on one side with, I would say folks, or if you want to call them progressives, like folks like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and then you have the very far right. I would say Donald Trump is kind of far right for this election, and compare where America usually is, because America is usually very moderate. Think about it. Bush, McCain's, the Romneys, those type of people who are very moderate, we move far away from that. And soon it's going to become a battle between between radical versus radical. And if Democrats don't do what they're supposed to do, these states will probably go, the ones on your screen that are filled with a lighter blue. But I feel like these states that are currently like, they went for Hillary Clinton and everything, they still have chances to go through a Republican. Nevada, if Latino vote is low or Latino vote is high for Trump, actually, Republicans have a chance there. Colorado, if suburbans flip, I mean, if they get mad about the police thing, there Donald Trump could win. Illinois, not Illinois, I don't know why I said that. In the state of Virginia, suburban vote, same thing. If a big part of the DC suburban vote flips, Republicans win. And New Hampshire, if like a lot of these small towns and those people flip, again, vote for the Republicans. So look, I honestly think that these states are pretty solid for the Democrats. But, I mean, they're on thin ice. A couple of wrong moves, and that might be it. So, now we're going to go to our Republican likely states. So, right now, there are not as many as they used to be. I would say before we would say Texas, Iowa, Georgia. The election is going to narrow up on both sides. Some Republican states are going to get a lot closer, and a lot of Democratic states that have been seeming like it was going to go to them by big margins are going to start to narrow up a little bit. So I feel like as of right now, if there's one state that is likely, it would be main second congressional district for the Republicans. Considering that the fact that this state is somewhat rural, this district, and yeah, they voted for Obama and everything, but these are just super like extraordinary occasions. I mean, Obama is not the same thing as Biden. Biden is a boring, moderate man. Obama was more progressive, and Obama was more exciting. And I feel like honestly, Biden's gonna have trouble flipping some of these states like Obama did, because Obama did it like this, and honestly, Obama could have kept on going and won by like big margins, and actually win by like a 400 more or plus blowout. But I mean, Joe Biden is probably not going to do that, even though the current Republican Party is more popular than in 2008, which, believe it or not, it's true, because remember in 2008 the Republicans were super unpopular post 9/11 unification. Now we're more unpopular for the Republicans, which could have helped Joe Biden, yeah, possibly, but he's not gonna have the same type of charisma that Obama had to go and win the state of Maine's second congressional district. So that is the only district at this point I see going for the likely states for the Republican Party, and that is telling a lot. If this is the only district they can get by likely margin, I mean the like statewide, the only electoral vote in likely margin, it's not looking too good for them. Now there's places where there should be hope for the Republican Party. So now let's actually go to our Republican lean states, since we didn't talk too much about the likely states. Lean states, there's actually a lot. I feel like states like Texas, Iowa, Ohio, and at this point, states like Georgia, these states that were used to be likely states for the Republican Party, I feel have now moved to the lean column. Why? Well, start off with Texas. A lot of people have made a comparison with Texas and have said that the possibilities of Democrats flipping here is high. Is it higher than it used to be? Absolutely. There's no way to deny that. But is it like high, like almost 50%? No. Democrats are going to have a hard time flipping this state, considering who is the candidate. If we're talking a very like inspirational candidate, a very moving candidate, maybe we could talk about Democrats flipping this easily. But since we're talking about Joe Biden, who is the old stereotypical old white moderate man, it's very hard for Democrats to move the key groups of people they need to move here. And considering that Republicans are like getting ready for battle in Texas, in the House races, and in the Senate race, and even in this race, Republicans are going to invest a lot of money into the state of Texas as of a couple next years, because they want to save the state. As soon as the state of Texas go, Republicans are done with presidential elections, and it's very likely they won't win one for a very long time. I personally don't see Joe Biden winning here. Yeah, people compare it to the Senate race in 2018, but remember, it's two different things. A Senate race is a lot more easy to flip because you're focusing specifically on that race. Joe Biden not only has to focus on Texas, but also the Rust Belt, also in parts of the Sun Belt, and these different areas, which, I mean, if Joe Biden could have just focused on Texas, yeah, he could win it, definitely. But if he has to spread his love around everywhere, probably not. Georgia, I feel, is in the same boat as Ohio and Iowa, because these states are usually somewhat very rural for the most part. There's very big Republican bases. And yeah, there's going to be extended turnout for everything. But I feel like these states are going towards the Republican side. And considering the fact, remember, bases, when it comes to bases, Democratic base is a lot smaller than the Republican base, in the sense that Republicans can count a lot more on their base to go vote, while Democrats have a harder time getting their bases to vote. That's why you see a lot of these places that it's very important to have big bases, because the more votes you already have kind of guaranteed. In these states, Republican bases are large. And the only way Democrats can win, and we saw this in 2008 with Iowa and Ohio, is having very good turnout from non-base voters. What are these flipping voters? What else you have? You have, for example, independent voters and third-party voters. The people you can flip on your side are going to help you. With these states, I personally don't see it, considering that the Trump base is very big, and yeah, there's some moderates, but these states are usually more conservative. Iowa is a lot more conservative than a state, for example, like North Carolina or Florida. So for that reason, I think that these states will go by around 3 to 5 points for the Republican Party. Things can definitely change, but Donald Trump is also doing very well in this general geographic area because of the economy. Which brings me toward Democratic lean states. I think Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and even Pennsylvania at this point, along with the state of Arizona. I feel like these states are right now in the lean column. So Arizona, it's because it's gonna be a close state. Whether like you're a Republican or not, or whether you're a Democrat or not, you can't argue with the fact that this state will be very close. Will it be like Florida 2000 year 2000 close? Probably not. Is it going to be close to the point where a lot of the both campaigns are gonna put enough money in this? Yeah. So right now Joe Biden has just a general lead, and I think the Senate race here is also helping him. A lot of people don't like Martha McSally, and that's gonna hurt the president because Martha McSally has been like named as the Trump candidate in Arizona, which again doesn't give a good look for the president considering how unpopular she is. Now we're gonna go to a Rust Bowl. This is a very interesting issue, and a thing I want to talk about. The economy is a very big thing for these states. These states solely vote on the economy for the most part. Yeah, they have these the other minimal issues they vote on, but for the most part, most people here are worried about the economy because either A, they lost manufacturing jobs and it's not like working for them, or B, the jobs they can find are not like as good paying as they did before. Because remember, the blue collar class, they used to be a very high middle class in areas like who knows, Detroit and Chicago, and these areas used to be very big in Pittsburgh, but now we saw the very loss of these jobs, and these people are solely worried on the economy. So a lot of people say that the coronavirus economy is definitely going to hand the Midwest to Joe Biden. I won't say that that's the major factor that we handed to Joe Biden, because considering the fact that coronavirus is not being as hard hit in these areas of the Midwest, or the big amount of cases have died down, the economy is almost back up and running. When we're talking about the Sun Belt, yeah, the economy will definitely hurt Trump. But when you're looking about these areas that are somewhat recovered, that's why you're seeing big growth for Donald Trump in these areas. I remember that last week when I did a JHK forecast video, I saw the Midwest was almost like 99% chance of going to Biden. Now there's 80 to 20%, which is it's not super big or like a big notable thing. But still, it's somewhat notable, going up 22% in your chances to win these states. And the reason is because the economy is not being as hard hit there. Well, some places like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, they're starting to have to reclose again because of spiking cases. The Midwest is not having to do that. So their restaurants are running. All these different things are working. And the people are working and earning money and doing cash flow, which just helps out the general economy for everyone. So these states actually are going to be a little bit more thankful to Trump. Because a lot of them also have grown from the 2016 election to the 2020 election. Yeah, who knows? It could have been related to like the passing of the economy between Obama and Trump. But at the end of the day, the economy is still growing, which I'm guessing these people would approve of. Now, it's a 9,000 vote victory for Trump in these states, so it's very likely he might be able to lose those 9,000 votes, and that's why I'm putting it in the lean column, because, yeah, although the economy is growing and everything, some of these voters don't like the Trump campaign, but I think it's a little unfair to say so, and kind of just count him off, because, for example, these polling firms, I guess they are, but they're not going into the neighborhoods that are being affected by jobs and things like that. Yeah, they're going to call random people to poll them, but still, I wouldn't say that polls are wrong, perhaps, but I wouldn't trust them completely. That's my stance on polls. But nonetheless, I think the Midwest is a very interesting area. And now we have 2 states left, North Carolina and Florida. So I've changed my opinion on these states over the last couple of days. And I honestly feel that the state of North Carolina has a very good chance of going towards the Trump campaign. Yeah, the Senate race and the governor's race is looking like it will definitely go to the Democrats here. I feel like the presidential race will be a lot different. Remember, the same thing with the statewide races. So if a lot of people are comparing these races to the governor race or Senate races where Democrats have won in the past, but remember, doing that does not help. There's many examples of being on the same ballot that people can lose. For example, Montana, the governor's race went to the Democrat Steve Bullock on the same ballot that Donald Trump won there. So don't compare races because they're not the same thing. But this is why I feel like this state might go for Donald Trump. It's just how big their base is. The Republican base in the state of North Carolina is absurd. It's very big for a swing state. Democrats, when they win years, because they have super high levels of turnout, unseen levels, Obama-type turnout, and they get every single person to go vote. And considering that this election will be high turnout, but I don't think it was going to be as high of a turnout as the Obama elections. I feel the state of North Carolina would go to the Republicans. Because remember, even though there was high turnout in the Obama election, he only won it by, I think, less than a couple points. But still, this race is going to be contested. Maybe 2 weeks ago, it was like in the Biden best case scenario, it could have even been lean to the Democrats. But right now, I see it going tilt to the Republicans. Last but not least, we have the state of Florida. With the state of Florida, there's many different things. You have Ron DeSantis, who's very unpopular, and the handling of the coronavirus is not so good as people may say. Now, does this mean that Democrats should be worried in Florida? Probably not. They have a very good hold on the state. What is going to hurt them? The same thing I said, the suburban vote. This state has historically always been close, but I feel like, honestly, Donald Trump can pull it off if the cards go right. So I'm gonna put it in the tilt column for the Democrats as of right now. Polling shows that Joe Biden may be ahead by 4 to 5 points, but still, I wouldn't. Again, with Florida, it's the same thing. Polls completely I don't feel like they're like completely the word of the election. That's how it's going to be. I feel like Donald Trump has a lot more support, I think, nationwide, and I think the polls are just underestimating him a little bit. Yeah, the polls are not technically not wrong, but I mean, they're giving the Democrats, I think, a little bit more of a push in the polls. And the state of Florida, I mean, it's pretty much just Ron DeSantis. If Ron DeSantis wasn't governor and the coronavirus would have been another different thing, I honestly feel that Donald Trump could have won here. And now I don't think it's going to happen because, I mean, as of right now, things can change. And as we get closer to the opening of the economy again, because we're technically in the state of Florida, they reclosed their economy again, I guess, in some places because of coronavirus spikes. Nonetheless, it's going to be very interesting to see this race. Last is Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. I honestly feel that Joe Biden won't win here. Yeah, Barack Obama won it. But I mean, this is not the same race as 2008. And this is a very different race from 2016. Now look at this. I feel like this state has, or this district rather, has a low chance of flipping. And would it go by a narrower margin? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, Joe Biden won't be able to win here because remember, this district is mostly made up of a couple, I think 2 urban areas and a somewhat rural areas on the outskirts. And historically, these voters, they're very progressive in this district. So there's a lot of Bernie bros. If Bernie Sanders would have ran for president, he would have easily won that district. But remember, Bernie bros, they stay home. If they don't like the candidate who's out, they stay home. So for that reason, I feel like that's going to be what's going to happen in this district. So, my last prediction is 220 to 318. Democrats are still winning. Biggest things we must notice. First of all, the Midwest is probably a little bit more red than people might think. And North Carolina, Florida, probably going to be the closest states in the election. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I want to just say a couple things before I finish. So, I wanted to thank all of you who use the hashtag PPTNotified, and thank you for all of you that turned on post notifications. So if you want to get a shout out, like the people I'm going to shout out right now, for next video, you just have to go down to the comments and post on the comment that says hashtag PPTNotified. The winners of our shout out for our last video was Let's Talk Politics and Brady Han. Congratulations, and I haven't completed the board yet. I'm gonna put it, I think, actually just for my election nights, because that's easier like that. But guys, I want to thank all of you for watching. Remember, I'm going to put the mock link, the mock election link, so you guys can run for Senate, House, and all these different things down in the comment section. There's only a couple days left to register, and it's free, and it's really, you don't have to do anything. You just have to fill out a profile, quote unquote, and you can run for Senate, House, or President. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give a huge thumbs up. Like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to get notified when I post my next video. Remember, live streams are on Tuesdays at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you enjoyed the video. See you real soon. Bye.